New information tonight about the Austin police detective now under the microscope following a chase and shooting that left one man dead.
Police say Larry Eugene Jackson Jr. started running from the Benchmark Bank after providing false information to a bank employee about who he was.
Detective Charles Kleinert, who was investigating a robbery at the bank that happened just a few hours earlier, ran after Jackson Jr.
And minutes later, a fatal shot was fired. KXAN's Aaron Cargile joins us live now with new information tonight. Aaron.
Yeah, good evening, guys. According to Police Chief Art Acevedo, Detective Kleinert will be questioned as part of an internal affairs investigation. That interview is expected to happen in the next 2 days. Today, we did some digging to find out more about the detective's background dating back to 1994. The Austin police detective, now under the microscope for Friday's fatal shooting, appears to be a model police officer. Yearly evaluations requested by KXAN reveal a clean record with high review marks. Detective Charles Kleinert has never been disciplined, and in his performance reviews, supervisors have bragged about his work ethic, said he is well respected among peers, is a mentor to younger detectives, and he's also described as an officer who will have no trouble climbing the ranks. When it comes to training, Detective Kleinert has more than 4,700 hours under his belt. According to records provided by the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, he just underwent firearms training in April. Last year, records show Officer Kleinert completed firearms training in August and September. But Councilman Mike Martinez says he shares in the concern of others who have been protesting the detective's decision to chase.
The policy is clear that certain actions must take place when a felony pursuit is ensued. It doesn't appear from the information I've seen from media reports that all of the protocols were adhered to.
Councilman Martinez also says the city manager didn't tell him or other council members about the shooting until Monday night, 4 days later. In past cases, they've gotten information within an hour.
And that to me is an internal process breakdown here at City Hall, and it is something that I expect to be addressed as well.
Now, Councilman Martinez says if it turns out policies or protocols were broken in the shooting, the council will be taking up the issues to make sure protection of life is the highest priority for APD. Reporting live, Aaron Cargile, KXAN News.
All right, Aaron, thank you. And you just heard in Aaron's report, Councilmember Mike Martinez talking about revisiting policies and protocols. But the executive director of the largest police union in Texas said policies can be a gray area, talking about what officers should do in a given situation, not what they must do.
If a policy says you have to do X when Y occurs, that's a bad policy.
Tell me why.
Because policy needs to direct. It doesn't need to prohibit. It doesn't need to proscribe conduct. It needs to say you should try to, you should make every effort to, but there's sometimes when you just can't. We're in a business where we have to make decisions, we have to take action on a split-second basis. You don't have time to sit there and try to think through the policy manual and figure out what to do next. You've got to react based upon the circumstances that are in front of you.
Which is why the training is so important.
Which is why training is critical.
Well, based on what APD said yesterday about the basic facts they know right now, we are poring over APD policy that applies to this incident, including those about foot chases, when to call for backup, and if an officer should ever enlist a citizen for help. That part of our story is coming up tonight on KXAN News at 9 and at 10 o'clock.